Good morning, guys. Welcome to Walking Boxing. It is Thursday, September the 19th, 2024. And not a bad morning today. It's a little bit overcast, but quite mild, which is good. It's about time. Apparently while I was away, the weather was very, very average. So it's good to be able to get the beanie off and almost got the jacket off, but it's good to at least have the beanie off anyway. Little Neil's very happy as well, by the way, because he's getting maximum minutes at the moment. He was on limited minutes while I was away, so he's happy to get out and pretty much take me for a walk. But anyway, some of the boxing news in the last day or so, probably the main one that I saw was Oleksandr Usyk being arrested in Poland at Krakow airport. Now, there's been a lot of, obviously, as you would imagine, when you've got the heavyweight champion of the world being led away in handcuffs, there's a lot of innuendo and rumours and everything else. But from what I can gather, it was simply a little bit of a misunderstanding. Apparently, he'd been on a long journey, long flights and driving and everything else, and got to the airport and on his way to the Joshua and Dubois fight, and was mistaken for being inebriated or intoxicated. I'm not quite sure, but he was detained by the Polish officials and taken away, as I said, in handcuffs. So it's a little bit embarrassing for everyone concerned. His wife did post on his social media account that it's all good, just misunderstanding, he's fine, he'll tell the whole story in due time. But President Zelensky, the Ukrainian president, had to get involved. You know you're a big deal when you got the president of the country getting involved with these officials and sorting it all out. So I'm sure there'll be a few maybe red-faced Polish officials today, I would think, once the dust settles. Because I don't think it's a good look when you're detaining the heavyweight champion of the world at the airport and leading him away in handcuffs. So we'll see what comes out there. But look, I don't think, as I said, there's lots of rumours and innuendo, but I doubt there's really any substance to any of it. And I'm sure, again, as I said, it was just a misunderstanding, and they'll all hope it just goes away, the officials at the Polish airport. The other bit of news in the last sort of 24 hours, it's not great news for Aussie boxing fans. That Andrew Moloney's rematch with Pedro Guevara won't be happening anytime soon. Guevara has just signed to fight, or apparently has signed to fight Bam Rodriguez for the full WBC belt. I think it's November 9th in the States somewhere. It might be Philadelphia, I think, because Boots Ennis is going to be on the card as well. So, yeah, not great news for Andy. He'd obviously lost that really razor-thin decision to Guevara on the Kambosos Lomachenko undercard. And, you know, it's just one of those, those sliding door moments. Unfortunately, Andy, speaking to him, he positive that he won the fight, and I thought he won the fight, but unfortunately probably didn't put the foot down as much as he probably should have in the last few rounds, and ultimately it's cost him the fight. I still thought he won, as I said, clearly anyway. But anyway, having said that, I watched it live, not on TV. It's always a little bit different. But anyway, I thought on the day he won. But either way, all that aside, Guevara has signed to fight Bam Rodriguez, so not quite sure what's next for Andy. Let's hope he just hangs in there. We of course know that he retired after the fight, but I think that was more out of frustration and disappointment, and a lot of years of and this is the guy, remember, who had the Franco fight literally stolen from him in Las Vegas. So I get that he's probably had up to here as far as the sport goes, but let's just hope this doesn't set him back, and he does get another opportunity. Still with Top Rank as far as I know, so so hopefully all is not lost there. And I mean, I don't blame Guevara, of course. Why wouldn't you forego a rematch that was very, very questionable and not fight the best fighter in the world for big money on a big stage? I get that. So I still think it would be pretty much easy work for Bam, but you've got to take your opportunities, don't you? So again, hopefully Andy gets his or another shot down the track. Also, brother Jason is in Japan at the moment. He's gone over there for a training camp, and you really got to admire these guys' dedication. And I know I'm a bit of a Moloney fanboy, by the way, but to leave your family for a month just to go over for a training camp to try and better yourself and create opportunities I think it's just the way you've got to do things these days. I just think sitting home here in Australia and going through the motions at the gym every day, and you've got to get out and move and shake in this day and age. And I think it's great that that Jason is doing that over in Japan and training with a lot of the elite Japanese fighters over there, and there are many Japanese or elite Japanese fighters over there at the moment. They are just dominating those lower weight divisions, probably apart from Bam Rodriguez, but apart from all the others, they seem to be doing the job anyway. So so again, for Jason, not sure what's next for him. Let's hope he gets another opportunity soon, because he's pretty well known over there in Japan now. So and by getting over there and rubbing shoulders with boxers, trainers, promoters, managers, all that sort of stuff, well, you just never know what might happen there as well. That's probably the only real sort of boxing or real boxing news going on at the moment. But one thing I was talking about, not real boxing, is the Rocky tour that I did over in the States. Hopefully you've seen it. It was on, if you haven't seen it, it's on this channel, go back and watch it. But I was just looking for a movie to watch last night, and I come across Rocky Balboa, the Rocky 6, and I thought I've got to watch it after being over there and going to his restaurant and doing the tour around. I thought I've got to go back and just watch the movie and probably give you a little bit more insight actually into my tour operator, Mike Kundra. And I probably didn't go too much into like some of the things he told me about the movie and his experiences in the video. Is more just the tour itself. But I thought after watching it last night, I'd just probably let you know a few behind the scenes stuff that Mike actually told me. And the one thing about Mike, he's obviously a Rocky impersonator, tour operator, all that sort of stuff. Well, it all started for him back at the time Rocky Balboa was being made. He'd obviously always grown up with Rocky. He was a massive fan. And I think he said that a couple of years before they filmed Rocky Balboa in Philadelphia, he might have met Sylvester Stallone somewhere and he gave him a painting. He had a painting of the original Rocky 1 and Rocky fighting Apollo, and apparently he got Sylvester Stallone to sign it. Sylvester Stallone really loved it and sort of really obviously inflamed his love more for the franchise. And then when they filmed the Rocky Balboa movie in Philadelphia at that restaurant that I went to in the when I was over there in Philadelphia, he was waiting out the front with all the other hundreds of fans that were there, and apparently Sylvester Stallone every night would come out for a lunch break. And when I say lunch break, I'm talking about probably midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. They always film those scenes at night when there was no one else around, apart from the hundreds of fans out the front, by the way. But they had it all blocked off, so it didn't distract from the amenity of the area. And he got talking to a lady out the front who said, "Geez, you look like Rocky." And they got talking, and apparently she was the owner of the restaurant. She was just happened to be out there doing something, and she said, "Look, you've got to meet Sly. You've got to come in there and meet him." So she actually got Mike into the restaurant while they were filming, and I think the scene they filmed was might have been when Spider Rico was doing the dishes in the basement or something like that, and they're filming another scene upstairs or something like that anyway. And he got in there and didn't get in the film or anything like that, but he was actually able to stand there and watch the filming of that scene or a couple of scenes in Rocky Balboa. And the thing is, what happened afterwards, he said at one stage he found himself outside somewhere without all the fans and that there, and he got talking to Sylvester Stallone, and Sylvester Stallone actually remembered him from that painting and said, "Oh, you're the guy." He said, "You look like this guy that I remember a couple of years ago gave me this painting." He said, "Well, that's me." And they actually were chatting for probably about 20 minutes or something like that, and said he was a really lovely guy and really sort of made a connection with him, and to the point that during the filming as well, Sly said, "You should, there's a national lookalike competition, you should enter." And Mike's not really the most, even though he has to be outgoing for his character, he's not the most, according to himself, by the way, not the most confident person with what he does. He sort of doubts himself a fair bit. So he didn't enter. But what he didn't know was that his friends and family entered him without him knowing. So he got a phone call, excuse me, from the powers that be and said, look, we want to meet you, we want you to enter, and he was actually very reluctant to do that, but he ended up relenting and going through the competition. And when he got there, even though he's a very insecure type of guy, he said when he got there, he said my worst fears were realised, because he said they were all really good. They were really good, and he said I've got no chance here. So he actually contemplated going home, and luckily he didn't. And he said, well, I've only got one way to do this. I'm going to go all in or nothing. And he pretty much went into character as soon as he got there, while the other Rocky impersonators were just, standing around and talking, excuse me, amongst themselves. He was in full Rocky mode. And, when the guys were standing around talking, he was Rocky. And he said it really carried him through, and ended up winning the competition, and sat next to Sylvester Stallone at the premiere of Rocky Balboa. So how's that for a really cool story? And more on that, he said once the whole thing was over, he said he actually got to Sylvester Stallone's number, and he said to this day he exchanges text messages with him. He'll get a random message from him at certain times, and he also officially endorsed Mike's page, the Yo Philly Rocky Tour that I went on there. So he actually did an Instagram video for him to put on his website and Instagram and everything like that. And really, and that obviously got him a lot of business. So he said he's the nicest guy you'll ever meet, very, very humble. But just the stories he was telling me about it, even with the movie, he said that with Rocky Balboa, because I asked him, did Talia Shire not want to be in the movie? This is Adrian. He said no, she 100% wanted to be in it, but Sylvester Stallone didn't want her in it for the storyline. And I didn't really agree, to be honest. With that, I thought she should have been in it. There apparently was going to be at the start, instead of what happened in the movie, apparently what's supposed to happen was that when the movie opened, Adrian was supposed to be on her deathbed, and Rocky takes her around to do that tour that they do with Philadelphia, that he does with Paulie at the start. Well, that was supposed to be Adrian. And then they'd have flashbacks and all that sort of stuff, and then the last bit would be the flat line, and Adrian would pass away, and that would be into the start of the movie. But obviously that didn't happen. She was already gone, and Paulie did the tour and everything else. But I must admit, I didn't really like the storyline in that. Was it Little Marie that was in there? I just thought, I think they just should have kept Adrian in it and kept her out of it. But anyway, some of the other stories he was telling me, he met the guy that plays Rocky's son, and Paulie, and all the characters. He said it was just unbelievable. But it's just those little things, and just running the steps up to the Philadelphia Art Museum, and obviously having dinner in the restaurant, and just all the little things. And he took me around to where Little Marie's house was in Rocky Balboa, and the cemetery, and just some really amazing sights. But some of the stories this guy told me, this is Mike Kundra. It's just stuff that you would just never know. And the fact that he said that he's still on friendly terms with us, because I sort of said, oh well, geez, you must have been lucky you actually met Sylvester Stallone. He said, met him. He said, here mate, here's his phone number. So he actually showed me his phone with his Sylvester Stallone's phone number on it. It's just amazing. But all those little intricacies that he showed me, little bits and pieces you would have seen in that video that people mightn't have known, little facts that he pointed out were just great. So I really recommend that if you do go to over to America and Philadelphia, make sure you go and do the Yo Philly Rocky Tour. I was just trying to think, there was another storyline that he told me as well. I think it was Rocky 2. This is coming from Sylvester Stallone, by the way. But he said that apparently Rocky 2 was supposed to be a lot different, in that Rocky and Adrian actually separated. She got another guy. He went off the rails, and what I can't remember what actually he said, but apparently Rocky 2 was supposed to actually then be Rocky 3, and Rocky 3 was supposed to be Rocky 4. Rocky 2 was supposed to be a bit of a circle of them separating and then finding themselves at the end of Rocky 2. and then fighting Apollo in Rocky 3, and then whatever happened in 4 and 5 and 6 after that. So just there are just a few little things that that he was telling me, but it's just really fascinating to get a few behind the scenes little stories that you don't really know about, and just little things like he told me the story of the Rocky's hat, the fedora, I think it's called a fedora, that he wears in it. It was a tribute to Charlie Chaplin. He was a big fan of Charlie Chaplin and Charlie Chaplin. And he needed something to, I suppose, for Rocky to disguise himself, not disguise himself, but hide a little bit in public. And he went into a thrift shop and he had $5 to his name. And he found that hat for $5 just to really cap off the character of, there's the magpies there, the character of Rocky. So what was the other thing he told me? He said it was only $1 million budget for Rocky, and I had no permits. I had to roll up in vans, film it all, and jump back into vans and go. And he said even for Rocky Balboa, the movie, the last one, the Rocky 6, he said that the studios wanted nothing to do with it, and they gave him a budget, I think it was $24 million, but he said it might sound a lot, but he said in this day and age, $24 million, it was probably equivalent to about $2 million back at, so it pretty much had a $2 million budget based on the 1976 movie to now, and he said it was they gave it no hope whatsoever. He had to do everything on a shoestring budget, which is hard to believe considering this is Rocky we're talking about, but he said no, they only gave him 24, which is a pittance in today's day and age, and he made that movie, and what a success that it was. So look, again, they're just a few little things that he was telling me, but it's just amazing to think that what that franchise has done. And I know, again, this is not real boxing we're talking today, but just wanted to shed a little bit more light on what Mike told me about those Rocky movies. I'm trying to think if there was anything else that he was saying. Oh, he did say also that the Creed character, while he wasn't in Creed 3 with Michael B. Jordan, a really messy breakup there. Apparently, even to the point where there was a picture in Creed 3, I think, where it was Rocky fighting Apollo, and Rocky had been airbrushed out of it. Just the spiteful little things that went on, and it's been an ongoing battle with that's Erwin Winkler, I think it is, who has the rights. And this is the thing that really got me about the whole thing, was that Sylvester Stallone doesn't actually own the rights to Rocky, because he wants to do a prequel. That's probably the other thing he told me. He wants to do a prequel series, and the studios all want it, but the one person that doesn't want it is Erwin Winkler, who holds the rights. So we could have got a Cobra Kai type of situation where we have the prequel of Rocky, how he got to where he got to, but Erwin Winkler has blocked that off. So that's a really disappointing thing, because it really threw me that Rocky hasn't actually got the rights to the character. He had to give them up when he got the rights, or got the studios involved. They offered him $300,000, by the way, to just give him the script and walk away. He held firm, got the role. He had that much faith in himself and the movie. And but one of those things was signing away the rights, and somewhere along the lines ended up with Erwin Winkler, one of the producers, and to this day he's got that and will always be handed down to his family. Even when he dies, will go to his kids. So he said at this stage, Sylvester Stallone really wants that Rocky prequel, but doesn't look like he's going to get it, because obviously they hate each other and there's lots of legal action and all that going on. So that's a real shame. How good would it be to get a Rocky series like the Cobra Kai series? So anyway, that's it for today, guys. I think I've waffled on enough about Rocky. But again, I just wanted to shed a little bit more light on it, give you a little bit more background to that video. If you haven't seen it, again, check out my video on this channel with the tour that I did, the Yo Philly Rocky tour in Philadelphia. So guys, have a great day, and we'll catch you tomorrow.